So on this week's episode of Be More Super, the podcast, we've got a familiar face on the show. He came on the show about 9 months ago. He's the marketing manager at Propstore in LA. It's Matt Truex. Matt, welcome back to the show.
Thank you very much. I can't believe that was 9 months ago.
I know, the year has gone so fast, but so much has happened in this year. It's been crazy. How is everything where you are at the moment with the pandemic? To check in with you.
So I'm out in LA. Things are slowly looking better. You know, people are getting shots and hoping that life will be back to normal. You know, midsummer
Shots
that
in
we'll
a
all be able to.
good. Yeah,
Yes,
shots
yeah.
in a good
First,
way.
first vaccines, and then we'll hit up the bar. But yeah,
Yeah.
no, life is. It feels like we're turning the corner soon. I don't make. How about you guys?
Yeah. Yeah, you know what? We've got another restriction being lifted on the 17th of May, so we'll be able to eat indoors soon. But I've got to say, currently, the bars and pubs can only serve alcohol if people are sat outside, and it's quite
Okay.
hilarious because the weather in the UK, by tradition, is always cloudy skies and it's raining. And every day when I finish work, I pass the same pub, and outside there's always people sat there in the rain with their pints, being proper British. And one of
Yep.
these days, I'm going to take a picture and I'm going to share it because it's hilarious. It really, really is. But have you been vaccinated yet? Then, so have you had your first one,
I
second one?
Yeah, I've had my first one. I've got my second one in a couple weeks, and then
Yeah,
get to feel a little
it's
more invincible for a while.
it's become a bit of a talking point now because every time someone says, "Have you been vaccinated?" the next question is, "Which one was it?"
Right. Yeah. Are you a Moderna man? Are you a Pfizer? Yeah.
Yeah, because I had the AstraZeneca and I've got my second one in about 3 weeks' time, and I had an
Okay.
awful reaction to it. I had a fever. I was in bed for 2 days.
Oh, God.
I was hoping for some side effects, maybe some superpowers of some sort, or turning into a spider or something. But
Yeah.
no,
Really.
I was in bed for 2 days. But it's worth it. It really, really is. And
Oh,
everything's looking
absolutely.
rosy. Everything's
I,
looking
I, I
fantastic,
s-
and I cannot wait.
yep. I scheduled my second shot for a weekend and just plan on a sick day and a lot of takeout and get through it
Sick
like
day.
that. You
Ooh.
know. Yeah.
See,
Exactly.
I've booked off the days, so in case I am too sick, I've booked off 3 days. But let's talk about Prop Store, because obviously Prop Store
Anyway.
are, yeah. Anyway, the pandemic. Let's talk about Prop Store. Prop Store, of course, is a wonderful company. They are the sponsors of the show, and they've been so kind to me in the past and the present. And you've got a great offer at the moment, which I think is fantastic. So to celebrate Star Wars Day, which May the 4th, you've got a promotion going from the
Mm-hmm.
3rd to the 9th with up to 50% off many Star Wars, pieces. So before we talk
Yeah.
about the pieces, Star Wars, it's enormous. I think every person on this planet knows what Star Wars is. Have you got a favorite one?
I mean, it's funny. As a kid, I loved them because it felt like it was just these three movies. You know, like it was the
Mm.
the whole story was right there. I watched them over and over again, and it wasn't until till recently that I kind of got into the more expanded universe stuff. And I mean, like even with the pandemic this year, we had the close of Clone Wars, we
Mm.
had season 2 of Mandalorian, and now a bunch of announcements this week with May the 4th. You know, so favorite is hard, but I mean, Empire Strikes Back is such a great. You know, when I'm sick in bed with my second shot, my second vaccine, I'll be watching Empire Strikes Back. But then some of the recent stuff, I loved Rogue One, and I love what they're doing with Mandalorian. How about you?
Mm. Yeah, I mean, to be honest, Disney, since they bought all the rights, literally Star Wars is everywhere.
Yeah.
And currently they're filming it in the UK for Andor, which is the
Oh, okay.
new Star Wars series. And it's a couple of miles above Blackpool, which is the most bizarrest place to film. And literally all over social media, people have got pictures of people in costume and the sets, and it looks awesome. Me personally, I actually prefer the originals. one, two, and three. And I think I
Hmm.
mentioned this to you last time because they just seemed a bit more real. They seemed because there was a lot more, I don't know, practical effects as well, and the CGI wasn't over the top. Don't get me wrong, the new ones are fantastic. Mandalorian, I think, is superb. I really, really do,
And
and I'm
looks
looking forward
incredible
to it.
despite the fact that the backgrounds are all fake. Like, yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
And how excited was you when Luke Skywalker appeared in The Mandalorian?
blew my mind. I was
Oh,
watching it with my girlfriend, and even she cared for a second. Like it was exciting.
yeah. As soon as that
Um,
X-wing came in and you saw the color of the lightsaber, I was like, "That's it. It's got to be." And I think they did it very very well. I think that ending is just fantastic. I won't obviously talk too much about the ending in case anyone is planning to watch it.
I hope
Um,
anyone listening to the May the Fourth Star Wars episode has seen this. But
yeah,
yes, no, yes, without spoilers, I thought it was fan service in the very best way.
yeah, definitely, definitely, and even Mark Hamill, gave his approval,
Hmm.
obviously, because it's his image. And it's really strange. I had a dream last night that I met Harrison Ford, and it was really weird. I've never had a dream, and I remember I handed him a picture of him in Han Solo, and he told me to go away.
I was gonna say, is he as like curmudgeonly in your dream as real life? It sounds like he is. That's great.
Yeah, that is the first time I've ever dreamt about getting an autograph off someone, and they told me to go away, which
And even in your
I,
dreams, he's like got no time to be Han Solo. That's great.
yeah, and I can't afford $700 to buy one from a signing coming up. It's crazy
Sure.
money. So let's talk about some of the offerings that we've got in this offer, which ends on the 9th of this month. So if you're watching this and listening to this, you need to get on it ASAP because it ends on the 9th, which is only in a few days' time. So let's talk about some of the offerings that's coming up in this offer, and it ends on the 9th. So anyone listening and watching, they need to get on this ASAP. So let's have a look at one of the first that you've selected to talk about, which is this wonderful piece just here.
This is very cool to me. So this is a small hand-drawn thumbnail sketch, essentially, by Ralph McQuarrie. This Ralph McQuarrie was, you probably know, your listeners probably heard of him, but like he's kind of the designer behind Star Wars. He was the first real artist that George Lucas started working with back in the 70s for the first film. And he stuck with the first three movies, did an insane amount of production design and just kind of world building artwork during that time. So much so that they still are pulling designs for current Star Wars stuff. His stuff, is referenced in The Mandalorian and the new trilogy, and probably will continue to be going forward. So this is very cool to me because it goes back to the first film. This is a small thumbnail that he did to try to start visualizing what it will look like when Luke and Leia jump over the chasm to get, or swing over the chasm to get away from the stormtroopers. So this is a little section of the Death Star. It is hand drawn in pencil. And we have a few other pieces like this. We've got all three of the original films represented. We've got two from New Hope, two from Empire, and one from Jedi. But I think this is just such a cool thing, especially coming from his hand, this guy who
Mm.
designed Darth Vader and the droids
Mm.
and the ships, like at least gave the original concepts and put those together. So yeah, this is a very cool thing to me. And those, as a part of the May 4th promo, these are 10 to 20% off on the site. So it's a chance to get an original piece of McQuarrie work at somewhat of a bargain.
That's awesome. And how rare is it to get a piece like this? Because again, as you said, it's hand drawn. I mean, how many pieces are out there? Because this seems quite unique to me.
Yeah, I mean, he was very prolific in his time working on the Star Wars universe, but most of that art, even to this day, is still owned by Lucasfilm. So I couldn't tell you exactly how many pieces are out
Mm.
there. But it's certainly a rarity in the world of Star Wars art. and again, kind of from the figurehead, the main designer of the world himself.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? I can imagine this framed and mounted on my wall. But I don't think my wife would let me. So let's talk about another piece. So another drawing of some kind, which I recognise this fella. I might
Yes.
recognise him.
So I'm not good at like all the names of the side characters, but this is
Mhm.
8D8, this is an early version of the Tortured Droid from Jabba's palace. So the guy with like the tiny little mouth going and yelling at R2D2 and C3PO
Mhm.
in Return of the Jedi. So that's what this is. It is a full size blueprint, by which I mean this is a 7 foot tall blueprint. That
Wow.
was yeah, it's actually a modern reproduction taken from an original production drawing. It was going to be used in a book. I'm not sure if it was a book for Return of the Jedi or for some other sort of designing of the world, a Star Wars book, but it ultimately went
Mm.
unused, and we wound up with it here. The thing that kills me on it is that you can't really read because it's a copy. You
Mm.
can't really read the name of the artist at the bottom. It's not doesn't have the original signature there.
Oh.
So it's an unknown artist, but it's such a cool piece. This is another one that if I had the room, like this would be an amazing framed thing to
Mm.
have on your wall or whatever. I just love too that it's full sized, you know, full human sized drawing here that you get all those little details. While compared to the thumbnail, I think you're getting a lot more detail in here.
Do you think more people now are wanting to collect more things from, behind the camera? Because I quite like the idea of having scripts or call sheets or artwork and sketches. I mean, do you see the trend changing now, especially?
I don't know that I see, yeah, I don't know that I see the trend changing. I see the hobby expanding.
Mm,
So with that takes everyone with different interests is coming in. So there's just more of a call for all of this stuff. Like I have as much interest, frankly, in this behind the scenes stuff as I do in like a screen used prop or a production made prop.
mm,
So it's this hobby of collecting original material from movies is all about nostalgia. It is all about just personal preference, like collecting any sort of art.
mm,
But I think that as more people come to it, you'll see more demand for, like you're saying, scripts and chairbacks and
mm, mm.
whatever, stationery with the production name on top, whatever it might be.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things I've been seeing a lot is crew gifts. Gifts that have been given to crew at the end of a
Yep.
production. But it's great to appreciate what goes on behind the camera because all we see is that 2 hour film that blows our mind, but then we don't
Right.
realize the hours and artwork and effort that's gone in before production has started. So these are obviously very, very unique. So going from obviously that drawing as well, we've got a great image of Jabba, which I absolutely love. Absolutely love the expression and the way it's drawn as well. What's all this about?
This is I just loved the expression, like you're saying, the work on this piece, and it's a slightly, or not slightly, it is a smaller price tag than the other work that we've been talking about here. But this is a piece that was done in 2016 by an artist named Alex Tavares. Excuse me, I might have butchered that name, but it's meant to recreate kind of the early stages of design for Jabba the Hutt. You can tell it's not exactly the guy that we met in Return of the Jedi, and I've got no information as to why he's reading, but something about just the mundaneness of that really speaks to me. Like I love kind of when we see these characters in a real world setting, or waiting in a waiting room or something like that. So like that really spoke to me. But yeah, this was a piece, like I said, done by Alex Travalis in 2016, and it's on vellum too, which I think is kind of adds to the effect here.
And you know what? I always find it fascinating that Jabba the Hutt wasn't going to look like this. It was going to be a person, a man.
I know.
And I remember watching
In a big
behind
furry
the
vest,
scenes.
it's crazy.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And then they went from there to obviously what we see on the screen right now. But what a great character he really, really was. I think he really made the scenes that he was in. And I remember going to, I think it was Madame Two Swords here in the UK in London, and they've got a life-size version of
Oh, cool.
Jabba in the Star Wars exhibition part, and it's just awesome. And I've got some cool photos with him. So then
Yeah.
I think we fast forward to the more recent films with the
Happily.
good old Ewan McGregor. Do you know this piece? This piece was actually mentioned, believe it or not, on the Graham Norton show here in the UK
Really?
on BBC. Yes, Propstore was mentioned on the Graham Norton show when Graham Norton was interviewing Ewan McGregor. So
How have I
literally
not seen?
this,
I've watched
but this
so many Graham Norton clips.
but this was when was it? I think it was during the pandemic because Ewan McGregor was on the screen, so he wasn't in the
Oh,
studio. So
okay.
it must be quite a recent episode. But yeah, he was mentioned. This piece was mentioned on air. So if you could tell us a bit more about it, I mean, it's awesome.
I would love to, but really, I want to just go look at that clip. Yeah. So this speaks to me. I thought this was kind of cool. This is an original hair braid made for Ewan for Phantom Menace. So of course he was Qui-Gon Jinn's Padawan in that movie, and the hair braids signify kind of that role or that rank in the Jedi Council. It's comes from the original collection of the hairstylist who was Sue Love, who worked on that movie. And I personally, I think that the way it's framed up is a nice way to display this
Mm,
type of thing. Like it's an original piece, but something that you probably want some context for if you're going to put it up on your wall. So having
mm,
it there next to Ewan, with one of the braids in place, I think kind of adds to the effect. But they would have made a lot of these for production. We have no way of knowing that this was used. I have a feeling it probably wasn't. Um, but it's an original piece made for the film and would match what was used by him on screen exactly.
And you talk about the framing, which is done amazing. And I'm not sure if this is done by Propstore themselves, because I know Propstore do get a lot of things framed, and the framing is just top notch. It is such good quality, and it's museum grade as well. So, it's there to preserve an item. Um, but yeah, Graham Norton, you'll have to check it out
I
because it was
gotta look
such
at
a
this.
good
Yeah.
interview. And Prop Store was mentioned as well, and I was watching it and I was like, yeah, go on. And
Oh my god.
I was gonna actually tweet Stephen Lane, and obviously having kids and everything like that around me, you soon get distracted. But yeah, that is definitely going to be an awesome piece. Someone needs to really snap that up in the sale because
Especially with the Kenobi show coming out too, which I cannot wait for.
yeah, I mean that looks
Yeah.
absolutely amazing. I think they should have started production last March, but obviously it was delayed.
Right.
But I think they've started or they're starting very very soon. And then another piece. Let me just get rid of that one. And I'm not sure if this actor was British that played this character. I'm sure he was. I'm not actually
Is
sure. I don't think
Riz
he's
Ahmed
British.
British? I don't
Yeah.
know. I really don't know, but yeah, this is from Rogue One. This is Riz Ahmed as Bodhi Rook, the pilot, the rebel, or excuse me, the Imperial pilot that defects to the rebel side and helps them wind up getting the Death Star plans in that movie. But I think this is awesome, frankly, that we're offering a full Star Wars costume on the site. This was made by the production team for an exhibition that was held at the Gatwick Airport, of all places, in England. So when the film came out in, what was that, 2016, I think? Anyway,
It
I think it
must.
was
Yeah, it's around that time,
2016.
isn't
Yeah.
it?
They had this display up in the airport with a bunch of costumes. made, by the production teams on the film. And this one is just as it was there. It's got all the complete pieces and comes on the mannequin and the base that you're seeing. So again, like I'm all about the easy to display item. So if you've got the room, this one just comes right in. You're ready to go.
And how rare is it to get like a complete set of costume on a mannequin, from a character? I mean,
Very,
is that quite rare?
very
Yeah,
rare. Yeah, very.
yeah.
Especially, maybe not from all things, but especially from Star Wars. We've sold.
Mm.
Phew, I can think of two complete costumes from Star Wars that we've sold in the past. For the most part, we're selling a piece, which was Han Solo's jacket that he wears like all through Empire Strikes Back, but that was just the jacket because the shirt's somewhere else and the boots are somewhere. Like so. Especially as time passes with the older films, just those items separate and go to different places, or maybe a pant gets lost or whatever. So having this all together is very rare. Yes.
And I saw that Han Solo jacket in person, and I was inches away from Propstore's offices in the UK, and just an amazing piece, and that went for an
I
amazing price as well.
I have to confess, finally, I am the model for that jacket on the cover of that catalog. I look like a headless mannequin, but one of the joys that for that auction was getting to model that thing a couple times, and there were reshoots and stuff. And they're just like, Matt, can you wear it again? Like, absolutely,
Do you know what, Matt? We've got a new game for the show. We're going to bring up different photos, and we're going to guess: is it Matt or is it not?
Is it a mannequin?
Is it a mannequin? Yeah,
I
we
haven't
can run with
gotten.
that.
And it was just one of those things where, like, usually we'd have that type of thing on a mannequin, but it was so we wanted to be so delicate that we didn't want to kind of manhandle it onto a person, and I was just lucky enough to fit the thing.
And then you mentioned earlier on the Death Star, and let's
Yes.
just hope I get the right piece coming up. There we go. I mean, how cool is this?
Yep.
I mean, getting a piece of the Death Star.
We've sold a bunch of these in the past, and they're kind of evergreen as far as the cool factor. This is a Death Star piece from the second Death Star from Return of the Jedi, made of biscuit foam. What they did back in the day, they made a bunch of different variations of the square panels for the Death Star, and then reproduced those in biscuit foam, painted them up, and then they shot them either in giant stages or sometimes just like out in the parking lot of ILM or whatever stage they were doing. But I think it's interesting too. Like it's just a testament to how long I've been with Propstore. Like you can tell the difference between a Death Star 1 and a Death Star 2 piece. These Death Star 2 pieces tend to be a lot more intricate and a lot more, I'll say, like tightly filled, tightly designed. You can see there's just like a lot of detail in that tiny little space. So that's definitely a Return of the Jedi Death Star piece. But yeah, again, on offer right now. Buy it now on the site.
That is awesome. And these pieces, people need to understand that throughout the years to come, these pieces are going to get rarer, and they're going to get more valuable, and they're going to be harder to obtain. So it's definitely a piece of history that we need to get on top of, and make part of our collection. But you know what, Propstore they are busy this year, I've got to say. So you've had the cinema auction, the cinema poster auction that went amazingly well. We had Mark Hockman on the show last month to talk about some of the posters, and you've got Annihilation. Is that just finished?
Or Annihilation just finished. Yeah, Annihilation just finished, the Natalie Portman sci-fi movie. A lot of Star Wars carryover in that. Natalie Portman and Oscar Isaac in that movie. But that auction went very well. And on the other side of pop culture, we've got the Zoolander 2 auction going on right now, which I love the first Zoolander movie. I loved the second, and the costumes in that are just so bizarre and crazy, and yet you could see them on the runway. Like it's fun to have those to be marketing with those right now. So that's going. from now until May 13th.
Mm. And then obviously you've got a big auction coming up in December, which is that based in, that's the London one, but have you got one coming up in LA very, very soon?
Yes, we've announced the auction dates for that. That'll be June 29th, 30th, and July 1st. So that's going to be our first 3-day auction. Can't speak to too much about that yet, but if you were a Star Wars fan, presumably listening to this, there'll be a lot. There'll be a lot in there.
Wow,
Some
wow.
very cool pieces
So,
coming up.
is there any other pieces that you want to talk about that you want to share? Because
I
literally, it's just looking on the website, which is propstore.com, of course. Literally, you could just spend hours on there. You really, really could.
Yeah, I mean, we have so much available right now as a part of the May 4th promo. We always have a lot of storyboards, original storyboards from the films. In fact, actually, as a scoop for your listeners, we've been doing 3 giveaways basically for this promo. We've already had 2 go, but then unannounced yet. But take a look at the Propstore Facebook page on Saturday for a chance to win an original storyboard from Empire Strikes Back, which features Luke and is signed by one of the producers. So yeah, a little scoop for your listeners there. But
Oh, that's awesome.
as far as the promo goes, we have a lot of storyboards, a lot of original art, some posters, some more little pieces like Death Stars and an Ewok face mask and that type of thing, you know. And then if you're interested in Star Wars props and you haven't checked out Propstore, like check out PropstoreAuction.com. We've sold some incredible Star Wars stuff in the past. Like in this past year, we sold a full Darth Vader promotional costume that was used to promote the film when it first came out back in 77, 78. But also, weirdly enough, they used the helmet of that piece on the Empire Strikes Back teaser poster. So that's kind of got some very cool lineage, that costume. And then we sold Hayden Christensen's and Ewan McGregor's lightsabers from Revenge of the Sith this past December in the UK auction. So yeah, check out PropStoreAuction.com if you're curious to see kind of the big ticket items that we've dealt with in the past.
I've got to mention as well is, have you seen Mortal Kombat yet?
I have seen Mortal Kombat yet.
Is it a yay or a nay? Did you enjoy it?
Oh God, do you guys not have it yet? I'm sorry.
Oh no,
yeah.
Yeah,
okay.
I've watched it. I've had a screener of it from Warner Brothers, and it is just amazing. I mean,
I
what
had
are
a
your
great
thoughts?
time with it. Yeah, I mean, like same as any other kind of, like I liked King Kong vs. Godzilla kind of the same way. It's just like, this is, I don't know what anyone else could expect from this movie or could want from it, but this is exactly what I wanted from it. I had a great time.
I mean, when movies like that come out, I mean, you as a member of Propstore, are there people at the company that reach out to the studios to try and get stuff, or is it a case of?
It's definitely a case by case basis, but we're lucky enough that we've got good relationships with a lot of the studios. So there are times, sure, well, where we'll pitch for a specific title or for assets, and times when we'll get contacted by the studios when they've got, let's say, let's get rid of a certain amount of production assets, and we'll decide whether we want to put that in one of our big live auctions, if we want to do an online auction of those particular items, online auctions being like the Annihilation and Zoolander, like we were talking about. So yeah, it's a bit of both, frankly.
And why do you think that we don't see much of props or costumes from films like Man of Steel or the Justice League and stuff like that?
I mean, I think that in cases like that, the studio archives know the importance of those pieces. They know, especially a character like you're talking about, Superman or whatnot. They know that those pieces are going to be key for the studio, that they're going to want to represent kind of all iterations of those legacy characters as time goes on.
Mm,
Which is why you see little pieces come out here and there, but probably not a big giant auction of Man of Steel, to use your example.
it's going to be crazy because when they do, eventually, if they do, that auction is going to be
I
immense,
mean,
and it's
could you imagine
it,
if Lucasfilm went and did a full auction? Speaking of Star Wars Day, like that,
yeah,
there'd be so much debt suddenly for every nerd. But
yeah,
yeah, I think it's just I truly think that Lucas was really kind of the first ones to understand the value of his production assets uh, when he was doing the original three. But yeah, I think studios understand the value of it and want to be this kind of part of preserving that.
mm, mm. And just out of curiosity, have you got anything on the site from Spaceballs? Because
Oh
talking about
God, I
Star
don't know
Wars,
right now. I
that is just
don't
an
know.
awesome movie.
Yeah,
May the
we've
Swartz
had
be with
stuff from
you.
Spaceballs. Yes, may the Schwartz be with you. We've had stuff from Spaceballs in the past. I think last year we sold John Candy Wolf's costume in the live auction. I
Yeah.
don't know currently, but yeah, that's one of those too where just like every once in a while this iconic piece comes in and you're just like, we had one of the yogurt dolls for a second and it's just like, how, that's amazing,
Mm,
how did this survive,
mm. Going back to this offer of up to 50%, obviously it's an iconic film. There's some amazing props there, and we've only literally mentioned a few because there's quite a lot
Right.
in that offer. Do you know if there's going to be payment plans available if
uh
people are wanting to buy?
yeah, there should it's kind of the same as if you were just buying a piece that wasn't on sale on our site. So as long as the
Mm.
price range fits, there should be a payment plan available.
That is awesome, Matt. Matt, it's been a
Yeah.
pleasure speaking to you. Um, as you know, I'm a massive geek as well for props, and I'm really looking forward to your auction coming
I
up
was gonna
very,
say
very
we'll have
soon.
to talk
And I'm sure
soon.
we'll
Yeah,
catch up.
for
Yeah,
the summer
yeah,
one. Yeah.
we'll catch up, and we'll have a look at some of the
Cool.
props you've got and get excited. And you know, I still love watching the auctions live. It's so entertaining. So I urge any of the viewers and listeners, get onto the website. If you're not going to bid, watch, because you will see these pieces just go for awesome prices. But if in doubt, there are prices to suit all budgets as well. So it's not just like that, the high end ticket items. You've got things that are affordable, and with the payment plan, you can spread it, which I think is fantastic.
Yeah,
So
which
it's
is
well
kind of
worth it.
the reasoning behind our first 3 day auction coming up. We've got all price ranges, like you're saying, So
Yeah, that's
hopefully
awesome.
hopefully more people can get on the action because of it.
Yeah, excellent, excellent. Matt, it's been a pleasure. You look after yourself, keep safe, and
You as
we'll
well,
talk
sir.
again really soon for the auction. All right.
Sounds good, and thank you for having me on.